Families of fallen officers share memories of the loved ones during a special memorial service. We'll hear from them in this half hour.
Also, your police report celebrates its 20-year anniversary. We'll talk with a special guest who was here when it all began.
Hello everyone, I'm Lon Bakey.
And I'm Carrie Crotty. Welcome to your police report. The Ebola virus is saturating news coverage, but what exactly is the virus and how big of a threat is it?
We recently talked with an infectious disease expert who helped sort out some of the information as well as contradictions.
You're not going to get it in the supermarket. You're not going to get it at the gas station. You're not going to get it at your kid's football game.
Dr. Peter Borenstein is an infectious disease specialist for Health East. He says he's talked about the Ebola virus more in the last several weeks than the last several decades.
I don't think that explains the white count going up, though. That's the problem.
The first cases of the virus began near the Ebola River in the Congo in 1976. Although its fatality rate is high at 90%, Dr. Borenstein says the risk of getting the virus in the United States is very low.
I'm having flashbacks to October 2001 when we had anthrax events following 9/11. And at that time, if you may recall, that several people were infected with anthrax in Florida and Washington, D.C., New York City. It was a real thing. People were scared. Panic was everywhere. Every time someone dropped a powdered donut, there was concern that it was anthrax. I think some of the airlines even banned powdered sugar for a while because people were so nervous. This feels exactly like that.
There's no cure for the virus, which causes bleeding, dehydration, and diarrhea, but Dr. Borenstein says providing supportive treatment can be provided to those infected. And hospitals and medical staffs are working hard to prepare for worst-case scenarios.
We have the ability to contain the infection. We have the ability to help people get through it. It's not insurmountable. It takes hard work. Infection prevention is hard work. It's costly. It's time-consuming. It's something people don't think about until they need it. The people at the Centers for Disease Control have saved countless lives, but they don't know who those are because when you're in a preventive role, you're saving the lives of people who will never be identified.
Dr. Borenstein says the nurses in Dallas and the nurse in Spain are the first people ever to be infected with the Ebola virus outside of Africa. Rather than worrying about contracting the Ebola virus, he says more practical advice to take is not to smoke, get a flu shot, and wear your seatbelt.
This is the second time I've had to deal with widespread panic about a novel process that people hadn't heard of before. We'll get through it.
For the latest information and updates, check out the Center for Disease Control's website. We're going to take a break, but first...
Nick Kreckler is not down with faulty equipment. Here's what he had to say about fire prevention.
Hello everyone, I'm Nick Kreckler. People die every year in homes without working smoke alarms. With the holidays approaching, now is the time to make sure that your alarms are installed and operating. 4 people were killed last year in Minnesota. According to the National Fire Protection Association, working smoke alarms cut the chance of dying in a fire in half. Install smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each separate sleeping area, and on every level of the home, including the basement. Interconnect all smoke alarms so that when one sounds, they all sound. Test alarms at least monthly by pushing the test button. Replace alarms when they are 10 years old or sooner. You should have a plan in the event of a fire. Talk about it with your family and practice. And since we're in the month of Thanksgiving, there will be a lot of cooking going on, and make sure to pay attention to what you have on the stove. Most fires start in the kitchen. Also, think about the use of candles, where they're placed, and consider using flameless candles. For more information on fire prevention, log on to the NFPA's website. By putting these practices into play, you could save lives. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Now back to our turkey-loving hosts.
body language. Without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
Okay, so we drowned the fire.
Yep.
Stirred it. Drowned it again. And now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Welcome back. There have been many changes in the 20 years your police report has been in production, but one man has been through more of those changes than any other host.
We'll talk with him in just a moment, but first, here's a look at some of his highlights.
Really happy to be here on our very first show, and we're real excited to be bringing this program to you.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Safety Pup, and here's today's safety tip. This is the time of year when everybody likes to go biking. One of the most important things to remember is to wear your bike helmet.
Yeah, you know, Sven, I'm getting kind of tired here. How are we going to get out of here? I don't want to miss the first Packer game, you know.
I don't know. We're driving in circles. Which way is Lake Capelin anyway? The helmet will protect your brain from being hurt. Nobody expects to crash or fall, but if you do, your helmet can protect your head.
That'll be used for supplies that we purchase for the students, including a DARE workbook, the t-shirts that we provide them with at graduation, and some of the other things along the way that we give to them. And then some of the money will be used for training. BO. That's just the BO. You'll fit in just fine here.
With summer in full swing, many Northeast. 3, 2, 1.
Steve, we're running out of lake.
Okay, 3, ready, go.
Explain the concept to Mayor Paul.
Paul who?
The man in the car was very badly hurt. That was a very sad thing that happened. Please, boys and girls, I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart, don't throw rocks or sticks or anything.
Oh, look at that! Safety Pup!
Remember me? I'm Safety Pup. I'm sure it's been a while.
Hey, Carrie.
Hi. Hi.
Everybody, this is Carrie. Carrie, these are the finalists that
Wait. Everybody leave except you.
But Carrie, you haven't even heard these guys read yet.
Yeah, but we're replacing Steve Heinz, right?
Yeah.
And these men are clearly too tall to be Steve.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I've seen the two of you on TV, and you look pretty much the same height.
Yeah, but he stands on a milk crate.
Really? Ooh. Sorry, guys. Congratulations, it looks like you got the job.
One more thing, would you be willing to shave your head? Steve doesn't have much hair either.
Oh, we're the price is right. How much does this gig pay?
Well, nothing. It's public service.
What? I'm outie. Find yourself another habit.
That's too bad. He had Steve's spunk, too.
It was so much easier with Carol Nelson.
We can bring her back. We welcome retired Maplewood police officer and former YPR host, Steve Heinz. Welcome.
Welcome, Steve.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back, I should say.
Yeah, it's like old home week.
So, can you tell me, if you can remember, what have you been doing since you left us?
Wow,
it's
lots
short-term memory kind of thing.
Lots of things. Been very, very busy. It's kind of like every other retired person you've ever known. They always tell you that they're busier now than they ever were when they were working, and it's so very true. But it's all stuff I want to do. I take care of my grandkids 2 days a week.
And they're very cute.
They are very cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're very cute. And they run in both directions, usually the opposite directions, and they run me ragged,
That's
which
a
is
kid
just
thing.
perfect.
They plan that.
I'm also still very active in some of the charity work that Maplewood Police Department has been known for. The Special Olympics Minnesota is a big one. We still do the golf tournament, still do other stuff during the year, including polar plunges, which are coming up.
Oh, yeah.
All of that kind of stuff. I'm also active with the American Cancer Society doing Relay for Life stuff. And I have hobbies that I like. I'm on the St. Paul bouncing team.
You might want to explain that.
Well, the St. Paul bouncing team is a team that was started actually about 127 years ago when the Winter Carnival in St. Paul started. And we're just a band of roving goofballs. There's 14 guys on the blanket, and one of our bounce girls will get up on the blanket, and we send them up in the air just like a trampoline, only we're the springs, I guess. So, but it's a lot of fun.
Have you ever dropped one?
We've never dropped anybody in 127 years. We've gotten really close in the last couple of years, but no, we haven't dropped anybody. So it's been kind of an interesting run, and knock on wood, we don't want to change that. I'm also a member of the Minnesota Police Pipe Band, which is something that I got very, very interested in many years ago, and finally took the plunge a few years ago as we came back from Washington, D.C. after Joe Bergeron was put onto the memorial wall in D.C. It just kind of all started from there. So once again, Joe's telling me what to do, which is kind of typical.
He does that.
I've been doing that for a few years now, and was actually very, very honored not too long ago to be able to play at the Officer Patrick funeral. It was my first event playing the bagpipes. I have helped out at some other funerals, but this was the first time I was ready to do that, and it was a great honor for me to be able to do that. So that's what I've been busy with.
Okay, well, he answered my question, so on to yours.
Oh, hey, okay. From the very beginning, do you remember the first episodes? And also, this is a combination question because we had some of our callers call in. And they want to know, in the beginning, was it in black and white?
No, I do believe we actually had color back then. Color film. Yeah, I'm sure we did.
Do you remember that first episode?
What I remember is I remember sitting at that desk thinking to myself, what am I doing here? and being actually incredibly nervous to be speaking to a camera. It was so strange, and I think we did it in one of the rooms at the police department, and it was just a really, really bizarre kind of start to the whole thing. But we kind of evolved, and a lot of help from the staff at GTN. We were able to kind of tweak things and build a show like you guys have now. That's just I just think it's a great it's a great way to continue on that legacy that was started so very long ago.
I was just going to say thank you for the legacy you've bestowed upon us.
Well, it was fun. It was a long run. It was right about 15 years that I was involved with several different hosts and co-hosts, and it was a lot of fun. We did some incredible stories, met some phenomenal people along the way, and got a chance to just giggle in the middle of the day, which was really fun.
True that. How did you initially become involved? Was it your idea?
It actually it morphed from an idea that Officer Jack Atchison had before he retired. He started a TV show with GTN, and it was kind of an interview-based show, and I think they were sitting on couches and just kind of chatting over a coffee table. And when Jack retired, Carol Nelson became the crime prevention officer, and she had the idea of having a team approach, having a couple of people do that, and so she asked me if I would be interested in co-hosting a show, and that's kind of how we got started.
Very cool.
And you answered the next question, so I'm going to go to a caller's question. They want to know if you originally had hair, or did you lose that as the show progressed?
Yeah, I used to have a lot of hair, and it was kind of poofy and
similar to mine.
A lot like yours, yeah.
Okay.
And gradually over time, I lost more and more and more, and just decided to accept the fate that I had been given, and decided to get rid of it. So
I'm with you.
We've talked about the duration of your time. How many years exactly, and how many co-hosts did you go through?
I believe it was just about 15 years that I was involved in the show, and originally I started with Carol Nelson, and then Dale Raskazoff, and then Flint Karras, and then Carrie Crotty, and occasionally, at times, we would have other guest hosts that would come in and take the place of whoever might be on vacation. So it was a lot of fun. Each one of those people, including yourself, just so different to work with, each different personality, and I just enjoyed it all.
Yeah, if you go back to some of the shows, you can see differences in the personalities up there, and it's really fun.
Do you have a favorite memory?
You know, we were talking earlier about some of the crazy things that we had done, and I think the Ole and Sven bits that Flint and I did were just some of oh my God, we laughed so hard. It was almost hard to film them because we were laughing and having such a good time doing it. But I think when we were talking to one of Flint's friends who was a DNR officer, and we were talking about the fish cop, oh, it just cracked me up. It's still to this day I think about it, and the weird stuff that we did. I mean, are you kidding me? And we got paid for it. It was
great.
You
mean like riding bicycles around the roundabout?
Around and around.
Around and around.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny you should bring up Ole and Sven, which is another caller's question.
Oh,
I can
okay.
just ask.
Yeah,
They were
sure,
wondering if the Ole and Sven skit was a skit, or was that the real you?
I think it might have been a kind of a combination of both, because that's sort of how Flint and I are. We're just weird that way. But yeah, it was something that we decided to do. I think just based on the fact that I was doing some weird voices one day, and that one came out, and somebody had a great idea, and I think it was probably one of the GTN staff that started it. But it was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
All right, well now it's time for some trivia.
Oh,
Dun,
okay.
dun,
Trivia?
dun.
There's a test?
Well, I guess you could call it a test.
All right.
All right. Number 1, what month did the very first YPR air?
September.
I don't have a real buzzer, so I had to do that myself. July 1994.
Oh, 94, when I had hair and I was young.
20 years ago. Oh, wait, 20 years ago.
Wow.
Well, since you couldn't remember the beginning, maybe you could remember the end. What was the month and year of the last show you hosted?
Probably would have been February of 2009.
March.
Oh, it was the March show we filmed in February.
So we'll give it to you, kind of.
I got it.
Kind of. It's like a half point.
Yeah,
or
we'll give it to
whatever.
him. He doesn't know any better.
Who were the guests on your very last show?
I believe Safety Pup was there, and Flint came in.
Yep.
I think Carol Nelson was there as well.
Yes, she was.
From that, I don't remember anybody else.
The only other one was another former co-host of mine, Joe Tran.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Yep. That was
Crazy.
amazing.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
See, I have some
Long-term
memory.
memory is okay, apparently.
How
Mid-range.
many chiefs of police have there been in the 20 years that you were airing this show?
Oh, goodness. Oh, since I was airing the show.
And you got to give them the names.
Ken Collins was the chief when we started. That was, but my career I spanned through 2 other chiefs, and that was Dick Schaller and Tom Hagen. So Ken Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also had Mike Ryan. We had Don Winger, Dave Tamala, and I retired with Dave Tamala as chief. So those are the 4 that I had during my career. How close was I?
You were good.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep, you're good. We'll
about that?
give you that one. All right, who's been the most frequent guest on the show?
Wow, that's a great question. The most frequent guest.
Stop trying to look at my answers.
No, I'm thinking it had to be a chief.
May not be human.
Safety pup?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Wait, boys and girls.
Approximately how many episodes was aired to date from when you started to now?
Oh my goodness. I don't know, 260?
That is darn close.
It is darn cool.
Yep, it was 810. 243. So you were close. And we do have one last really important question. And this is from another caller, and it actually is an officer, Paul Tyson. He wants to know how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop.
If you ask Mr. Owl, it takes 3.
Bingo.
1,
ding, ding, ding,
2,
ding.
3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, we all.
That's all we have.
All
And
right.
I'm old enough to remember that commercial.
Yeah, sadly, so am I.
I give him an A minus.
Yeah. I think so.
Considering
Yeah.
what he has to work with.
Right, yeah.
Good
Good
point.
point.
Let's give him an A.
Okay, let's give him an A.
A.
Thanks, Steve, for
A.
showing up. Appreciate it.
All
It's
right.
been fun. Thank you.
Yes, it
Appreciate
has.
Good times for all.
Thank you very much. And enjoy the rest of your retirement.
I plan on it.
And plunging into icy cold water.
I'm planning on 2 this year.
Can we order some warmer weather this year, please?
I'd love to. 30s would be great.
I did the ice bucket challenge. That was enough cold water for me. It was not fun.
It's not.
Yeah.
Not
But it's
cool.
for great causes, so.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
All
Steve.
right. Thank you,
Thanks.
Steve.
We're going to take a break, but first, we'd like to thank the men and women who have sacrificed to protect our freedom.
There are over 23 million military veterans in the United States. The brave men and women who serve and protect the United States come from all walks of life and deserve recognition not just this month, but every day.
Happy Veterans Day to them. We'll be right back.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/therightseat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
Welcome back. Survivors gathered at the state's capitol to share stories about the officers they lost in the line of duty.
Minnesota Concerns of Police Survivors, or Minnesota Cops, hosted the event. Here's that story.
We don't want people to forget those officers that have died in the line of duty or have been injured in the line of duty. Want to make sure that their families aren't forgotten.
Saw the place where I could always stand, a shoulder I could lean on.
It's been said that God has a plan for each of us. Yes, so then most would agree that God's plan for Josh, and that he becomes St. Paul Street Cop. Friends and co-workers would often comment that Josh's blood wasn't red like most. It was blue. Police blue.
I think it's important for my children to celebrate who their dad was, to celebrate him as a hero and also as their father.
Selfless with your life. What are we gonna do?
It was something when Mike passed away and when I met Todd, I told him this is always going to be part of my life and my kids' life, and it's remembering their dad. They were so young and I never want them to forget that.
I remember in the middle of the night getting the phone call from Mom saying Tommy's been killed. And the first thing you think of is, oh no, not Tom.
Tommy Decker, end of watch, November 29th, 2012.
And asked my wife, to do one of the hardest things a police wife should ever have to do. I picked her up and I took her down to tell a fellow wife that her husband was never to come through that door.
Joshua, Philip Lano, end of watch.
Sean Silvera, end of watch.
Michael Pollock, send them now.
Concerns of Police Survivors is a national organization with local chapters in most states.
For more information on Minnesota's chapter or how you can make a donation, log on to mncops.org. That wraps up this edition of your Police Report.
Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and remember, if you ate too much turkey, sleep it off before you get behind the wheel.
Take a nap.
Thanks for watching. Hello everyone, I am Lon Bacon.
Yes, he is, and I am not.
Jeez. All right.
Your Police Report has been in production, but one man has been through more than one of these changes. Oh, okay, forget it, because I had to swallow right in the middle.
I heard this.
I know, Michael.